Yeah, I do. I have to order them. I order them online, like through.
Like cases of them they deliver.
Yeah, dude. And you know what's funny about this? I must have legitimately been high when I ordered them because this is my least favorite flavor, and I ordered 3 cases of them and one orange,
So
which
that's
is
why
my
I get one.
favorite. No, I've been chugging. Maybe I just drink him so much now that I like him. I had to bring you one. I actually brought you 2.
Oh hell yeah, I appreciate it. It's good.
So shout out First Form. Thank you for the
Form
treats.
energy.
Nick, I'm gonna turn this light up like the Holy Ghost.
Turn it up.
Nick, for the people that don't know you or are curious who Far Out Nick is it Far Out Nick or Far Out Nicky?
Far Out Nicky.
Far Out
I think
Nicky.
it gives it lends a sense of like familiarity,
Okay.
so makes people feel more comfortable around me. No, I am Far Out Nicky. I run a cassette tape record label called Out Cassette Club. I put local musicians on cassette tape. I throw a yearly music festival in my backyard that is coming up this September, Far Out Fest 5, the 5th year.
Dude, that's amazing. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, you have to come.
Hell yeah.
It's a great time. Last year we had like almost 400 people
Shut up.
packed in my backyard.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's my goal is to make it the most like overproduced backyard show that you would ever go to. Usually if you hear like, oh, this band's playing in someone's backyard, you like, okay, yeah, you feel like you know what to expect. But when you come into my backyard, there's like projectors like lighting up the whole yard with crazy visuals. This year I have 3 different stages, like 11 bands. There's art installations. It's a huge ordeal every year. Every year I'm trying to top the year before it.
I don't know how I didn't know about that, but I'm like just picturing like what's that movie called? Like The Kiss for the Back Party. It's like Project X.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's imagine that, but like everyone's having a good time and
Not rolling.
not doing drugs or whatever.
When did this idea come? Like, when did you think about doing that?
I didn't ever think of it until it was when my brother Tucker was living here with me, and he had just woken up and had walked upstairs, and I was in the kitchen. And it was like the first thing he said to me that day. He was like, "What was that music festival you were talking about throwing?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" I've never talked about that before. He's like, "No. Yeah, you were telling me the other day that you wanted to throw a Far Out Fest." And I was like, "I do now, I guess." I'd never mentioned it to him. We think he just dreamed it, and then I ran with it after that.
And made it happen.
Yeah, I just tried to figure out how to. I had never thrown a show before. So it was kind of like I didn't know what to expect. I just asked bands if they wanted to play in my yard and then went from there.
Tell me, let's say I'm a band.
Yeah.
I'm going to call myself the Good Boy Billies.
The Good Boy Billy. All right.
Shout out Good Boy Billy. How would you approach me?
I think, well, a lot of the bands that I had asked were either people I had worked with through like the Cassette Club or, it wasn't like super cold calling, random bands or anything. It was people I like knew already. So I just DM'd them and I said, "Hey, I want to do a backyard show, like music and arts fest." And everyone was super cool about it and showed up. And the first year it was like, I don't know, like maybe 40 people or something, which I was like blown away by. I was like, I can't believe I got that many people in my yard.
That's a lot, because 40 people is 40 people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I mean, I was very pleased with the turnout. And then the next year I have to keep doing it. I have to do it again. And so we did 2 Far Out, 2 Fest.
Oh my gosh.
We were trying to follow the Fast and Furious naming convention for a while. So the third one was Far Out Fest 3 Tokyo Drift. And then after that, all the names get confusing. It's just like you can't keep
after
doing
that,
it.
they repeat it. So it goes, number 4 was just Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
So
Far and Fest. I don't know. Yeah, it was.
And now you're on the 5th. This
Yeah.
year's the 5th.
Yeah, this year's the 5th
And
year.
say the name again.
Far Out Fest.
Just Far Out Fest 5.
Yeah. Yeah, I just am numbering them now.
It's funny that I didn't know that, and it's cool that you did it. But what's more cool is what you just like. I didn't know how to do it, but I just did it. And the other day I was asked by some young kid, like, how do you start a record label? And because I had one,
Yeah.
and I just told him, like, you just start it. Like, I don't know why it's so hard for people to just, I think they overcomplicate things. So you like walk me through the process of doing the first one.
Uh, yeah. Well, I guess it's sort of how I approach everything. I think I just am. Some of it's I'm too lazy to like do a ton of research. But that also saves me from like that paralysis that people get where they're like, okay, I'm going to do this the right way. I got to make sure I know everything. And then they get stuck in the very first phase, which is like, let me research how to do this rather than just like doing it. And so, the first step was like deciding that I wanted to do it, having the idea, and then just I started to book bands immediately. I didn't plan anything else. I figured I would find ways to make it happen after bands had agreed to do it. And it was like some things were a disaster. Every year I learn things like not to do and things like processes to stick with, but it's just because I jumped into it and just started doing it. But yeah, I've learned everything just by like trying to do it and failing. And sometimes it like that method costs you a little money sometimes, and sometimes you fail really hard and embarrassingly at certain things, but at least I like am getting the places that I need to be, or getting getting things done that I want to, whether or not I've done any research in advance.
Dude, I can't tell you like how cool I think that is and how amazing that is. Number one, like you just can't teach this. You can't. I look around. I'm looking at you. When I had this, when I was hearing you talk, and the way that you look like super cool, made me think of who's the guy that found Justice and Daft Punk.
Ed Banger.
Ed Banger.
Yeah.
And you just have that. You just have. I look at the cassettes, the record player, the stuff on the floor, the cables everywhere, and like, dude. That's art. That's music. That's like, you can't teach that. And when you're so passionate about something, it's like intuition. You just know what to do without knowing how to do it.
Yeah. I think, and I've expressed this to other people all the time, where I like being an artist of any kind. I think sometimes is like, it comes down to like you're compelled to do it. And so, yeah, like sometimes you're compelled to do something and then you like do the research and do it the right way, or you go to school and learn how to do it the right way. And sometimes you're compelled to do it and you just have to do it at any cost. And that's been a lot of like my experience making art or being a part of anything, or, these events, the Cassette Club. Like I didn't know what I was doing with that either. I just like started doing it. I got a bunch of cassette players on Facebook Marketplace and stacked them all up and started duplicating cassettes, but I was making mistakes the whole way, but I was compelled to continue. I couldn't stop trying to make it happen, and I think that's the kind of the sign of a true artist, I think, is that sometimes it's like your art or your process can ruin your life just because you can't stop yourself from doing it.
Where's my phone? I have to read you this quote. I'm reading this book about creativity, and I think it's called Simple Art. I'm not sure. It doesn't matter, or maybe it does matter. I need to plug it.
Don't shout out that book.
Shout out. But I read this yesterday and it really stuck with me. It says, "No matter what tools you use to create, the true instrument is you. And through you, the universe that surrounds us, all comes into focus." And it really struck me because I find that people don't know how creative they are because they're too afraid to try. They're too afraid to look stupid. whatever it is. But I find it like art is whatever that means to you.
Yeah, I mean, if I think if people really want to do something, they do it, and that's every in your everyday life. If people like, when they're like, oh yeah, I wanted to text you back and I forgot or something. Like, no, if they wanted to text you, they would have done it. Yeah, people are constantly doing exactly what they want to be doing at that moment. And and if they say otherwise, then it's like, well, then what was your reason not to be doing that thing? Like, what was stopping you? And I think with art, yeah, there's a lot of reasons like, oh, what if it's bad? Or what if people don't like it? Or what if, people make fun of me or something? Well, then, like, you didn't want to do it that bad, I think. It's if you let those things get in the way, then you didn't want it that bad, I guess.
Where, like, it's crazy that your whole family is like just, you guys are all very different. Where did the art side come?
I think it was, well, my mom was an art teacher growing up. And my dad in a lot of ways is also like very artistic. But they, I think, also really wanted us to focus on like the academic side of anything we were doing. That was kind of like do things as hobbies. And, art or music, playing guitar is fun. We all were in band class in middle school. I think, yeah, every single one of my siblings learned some instrument when they were 12 or 11. But there was also kind of like but then what are you going to do for a living? Like, I think like being an artist as like a job or something was never really like on the table as far as they were concerned. Like, just do those things for fun. But then what are you really going to do? And I think maybe if I had actually been like, I'm going to be an artist or something, they probably would have tried to be supportive. But it kind of meant that, like, growing up, I did all these things and became obsessed with music and playing instruments and playing live music with my friends. But then I did the whole, like, graduated and went to college and studied, like, something that I could have a job at. And for a while in my 20s, like, playing music wasn't as much of a priority, or I like wasn't seeking out ways to do it as much as I used to. And then, doing like the whole, like, I have a career, and now I'm like over all that. I'm like, I'm going to get back into art. I'm going to start spending all my time focusing on just playing music and creating communities around music and art. And I can't stop myself now. Like you said, this house is just a mess because I'm in the middle of any 4 or 5 projects at any given moment.
AKA you're a real artist.
Because it's the process is ruining my life or making my house really dirty at least. But
no, that's good, dude. I think personally, you know how they say hindsight's 20/20?
Yeah.
Because, and your brother and I talk about this sometimes, where we were polar opposites. Like, I was trying to be a cool DJ and fuck off, and your brother was like, I gotta graduate from the BYU School of Business or whatever he did, engineering,
yeah.
And and he took the career path and has been super successful in that path. And there were times where I was super, like, jealous because I would see my bank account just negative or like no money, and I knew that, like, I'd see it happening, but I wouldn't do anything about it because I was too focused on trying to be cool, and I was insecure. And then I would cover it up by, like, you just focus on the party. And then I look at you, and I remember, I've never told you this, but I remember when you first got this house. And I think, I don't know if I came to help you move in with Chris or something, but you had just moved here.
Mm-hmm.
And I I was asking like, you bought this house? I was so like, it just blew my mind because I had friends that had bought homes, but not my friend's little brother buy a home. And not only that, but I knew you had like a career path, but I did see you as like this artist kid. And so there was a part of me that was jealous, and also a part of me that I'm like, I'm doing things wrong because having a house is freedom. You don't have to worry about rent going up, like real things that think of all your friends or my friends that don't have a house. And though like you essentially, in my opinion, you set yourself up for success because now you do have the freedom to to throw the Nick Fest 5.
Yeah.
Or I fucked up.
Far Out Fest.
Far
Yeah.
Out Fest. There you go. Far Out Fest 5. Had you not, and it's funny because I literally just talked about this with my friend Felicia. Had you not done the work first, the shit you didn't want to do, this wouldn't be possible.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of it, because I do think back sometimes and I'm like, how did I even get here? Like, what led me to this place in my life? Because like I said, like, I'm not a planner. I'm not a researcher. I haven't really, even back, like, I wasn't looking that far ahead. I just knew that, like, I was raised to, there's some, like, a practical element of your life where you need to have a job because you need money to survive. And, you know, there are certain steps you can take to, like, make your chances of survival the best. And in my family, that was keep your grades up, study something in college that's worthwhile, and then once you're done with that, then you can hopefully find a job that will sustain your life. And so I kind of like, I followed those steps as, you know, as much as I could. But then like the house thing, just like, it kind of just fell in my lap, really. I was like, I wonder how hard it is to get one. And so I just like talked to somebody I knew who was like, you're a realtor, right? Like what's the process? Can I get a loan? And they were like, talk to your bank. So I just started doing it as if I knew that I could get one. And then the bank approved me for some like crazy loan that they should not have. Like, it's so dumb. But I was like, I'll have roommates. And I kind of just like did the process, not knowing anything about buying a house, and then ended up in one. And fortunately, like, it worked out, like, nice. Yeah, like, it could have been a disaster, but yeah, now I'm here, and it has afforded me a lot of like, yeah, like, now I can have bands play in my backyard and do all these other things. But a lot of that, again, was just like it came about because I just started doing something and it worked out. Like, I might be just the luckiest person to exist or something, because like a lot of it just was dumb luck. It wasn't because like I played my cards better than anyone else. I just started doing it as if I could do it, and then somehow it happened for me. Also, I think I got like the last affordable house in Salt Lake City in 2017. Like, we were running out of real estate that was, you know, in the 200K range even, and so I don't know, it got crazy. But either way, yeah, it kind of, if I tried to buy this house today, right now, there's no way, like, not a chance.
It's probably at least 700,000 now.
No, not yet. No, not
600?
quite. I think it's creeping up on like $500,000, I think.
Still.
Yeah.
That's
which is, it's bonkers now, yeah, but like the real estate market during COVID got crazy. And
I bought like right before interest rates went up.
Really?
Out of like, I need like that desperation. I'm like, I need to do something now. And I bought a townhome. Nothing cool, literally nothing cool, just a brand new townhome. And I bought it after they lowered the prices a bit, and I paid at the end $450.
Yeah. But that's probably inflated how much now?
Not much.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's gone down. I like, sometimes I'm like, do I look at this or do I cry? Because if I look at it, I'll cry.
Housing is one of those things you got to live there for a while, and then it's always worth it.
You say dumb luck. It's funny, dumb luck. But I think hearing you talk about just hearing you talk about some of that stuff, and then I want to segue into this, but I think it's because you just have a good aura about you. And people will, because you're so good, like genuinely like a good dude, people will go out of their way to like want to help you succeed. And here's an example, and you'll remember this. But when you wanted to get into DJing, do you remember who bought you a MIDI controller?
You did.
No.
Who did?
It was Isaac.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. Really?
Who did he buy it from?
You.
From me.
I still have that MIDI controller.
Dude. And that was what got me, and I bought that to get me into DJing, and I bought it from this guy named Donovan Lucas. Shout out Donovan. He won't listen to this, but he used to throw like the biggest parties here and got me into it. And that was like my catalyst to the music scene, to like, oh, I can do this. Like that was the tool. And then when you were getting into it, I moved over to turntables. Mm-hmm. Isaac, paid me the money for that. And so you think about that. That's someone that just wanted to see you succeed. And that says a lot about you for someone to do that. And then when I look at your photos, you have like two of your best mates like all the time, Steve and Max.
Yeah.
And most people won't have that kind of friendship after they're like in elementary school, maybe junior high, maybe high school. Very few people can have like that kind of friendship. And I want, if you're open to talk about it, like what makes you guys like so special?
I don't know. That is a good question. But it's been actually friendship in general has been something that's like been a theme in my life that has been becoming more and more important. And yeah, because I met Max, we were 5 years old. We like met at the bus stop. Like the first day of kindergarten, our moms were like, you guys should play or whatever. So I've known Max, almost 30 years, which is crazy. And then the moment that we had met Steve, it was like instant, which is like, this kid's the best. So yeah, it has just seemed really easy to remain friends with all these people. But I think a lot of it is just like, we pick the right ones. I don't know. It is a weird thing, but I think we all do like go out of our way to, if something is important to the other person or they're trying to accomplish something, like we're all in, trying to help them do the things that they have done that for me. Like every year Fire Out Fest is like, I bite off way more than I can chew, and Steve is here like constantly helping. He's coming here today to like help me do more things to prep for that. He provides like art, and he gets so many people here. He like talks about it to everyone. It's so sick. But yeah, I'm just the luckiest person. These people have just kind of showed up, and we're just all on the right wavelength, I guess. But yeah, it has been surprising to some people that like meet my group of friends, because we all have been friends for so long and like still see each other. Like Steve's moving in across the street like next month. Max, when he first got his house, it was like 3 blocks away from mine. We just like can't, there's like a gravity that we stay in each other's orbit. And we just make it work that way. But yeah, I don't know how it happens, other than that maybe we just have insisted that we make it happen. But no, yeah, I love my friends. They're all like super like supportive of everything I do, and it makes me want to do the same thing back, I guess. Yeah. And I think that's maybe hard to find for a lot of people, but I think everyone should look for that at least. Like if you're excited about something and your friends aren't, like, I don't know, find people that are trying to ride that wave with you.
Dude, that's really cool, and thanks for sharing that, because finding friends that do want to root for you, I think friends do, like, I know Chris will always like support me no matter what. And he's like my, one of my like closest best friends. But there's a different, like, it's not the same like with you guys. So it's really cool. And like you said, like really special. Cause like most, like people, I guarantee that if you were moving out today, Max and Steve would be here ready to pack, and get, and, most people, even if you're like real tight, they'd be like, fuck, moving out.
Yeah.
I don't know about this. Let me see if I can find this picture. I'm sure I'll be able to find it relatively fast because I was just showing it to my. All right, back to it. Let me show you. I'm not even going to show you. I'm just going to go like this and let you look at it.
Nice. Yeah, this is a while ago, huh?
Dude,
was this before you had moved to Seattle or after? You just got back?
Yeah, I was transitioning to LA. This is June 23rd, 2008. This photo's at 3:07 a.m. And look at this.
Holy cow. Those are some throwbacks. Why am I shirtless?
Okay, all I remember from that night is that it was like one of the best nights of my life.
I love the commentary where you ask someone else there, what is going on? And she says, I don't know. And looks at her watch. It's 3 a.m.
Do you remember that gal?
Yeah.
I can't remember her name.
She was a friend of the girl I was dating at the time.
That's
Yeah.
right. I was telling Sonia, because we were looking at your stuff today, and I was like, I remember I was just on my way to. I was actually on my way to LA, but I was making a pit stop here for my birthday.
Was it your birthday? Yeah.
My birthday. And
oh, I remember that whole day.
dude, were you with me at the strip club?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because then my girlfriend called and we were at the strip club because we saw that they had $8 steak dinners.
I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
I was like, because I was telling Sonia, I'm like, I flew in and for some reason, like, I remember like strip club and burgers, but no, it's
yeah,
steak.
It was a steak dinner because you had called me and then we were like on our way there. I was like, meet us at Trails. We're gonna go get cheap steak dinners, and they were bad.
They were shitty.
Bad food.
Oh my god!
But then we like went there, and then my girlfriend had called, and she's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I was like, "We're at the strip club,
having steaks,
having steak dinner."
Steaks.
And then there was like her roommates were having a party, and there
was a party bus, and I was like,
"Oh yeah, that was a weird night, dude."
And I was like, "Wait, it's my birthday. This is perfect." And so, like, from like airport, strip club, steak, started to like
took a party bus that none of us had booked or anything. It was like a roommate,
and we went from like a house to,
we went downtown to that bar.
Yeah, that bar. And what was crazy about that for me is because I had already lived in Seattle for well over a year or something like that. Someone bumped into me like just, oh sorry bro, and I like, oh my bad. And he was like, wait, is your name Omar? And I was like, yeah. Cause like, that's the only thing I remember. He was just like, I love what you're doing, the damn son. Those are like that was, for me, it was, that whole night was so like special, important because, hanging out with you and then having someone like compliment like something that I'd worked on for years and I was about to like transition and stop doing it. And then we rallied. There's a pit that we're on in a bed together. And I remember a big ass pizza.
Probably. I don't know. I was babbling in that video. I probably don't even remember most of that.
Anyway, I thought I'd show you because that's one of like my most, like that week was really special in my life because it was a transition. But having like that that night, like just so fun, and you were a part of that. So,
hell yeah, what a fun night!
Thought I'd show you that.
That's also I think bumping into someone who you don't know or recognize and having them say like, hey, this specific like thing that you worked really hard at, I recognize that and that was really cool. Great job is one of the craziest feelings. And I think part of like social media has kind of like ruined that in some ways, because now like we can do something and put it online and we get little indications that like little good jobs in the form of hearts or likes or whatever, and now people, they keep like trying to quantify their efforts with those things. You know, they worked really hard, they did something, but like even like when I play a show or something and someone comes up to me after and says like, that was a great set, that's way cool, like that feels awesome. But it's always like when you're in a entirely unrelated situation and you bump into someone and they're like, oh, hey, are you this person? Hey, I saw that thing you did, that's really cool. Because they went out of their way in a completely different context to still bring up this thing that you did. And anytime that happens to me, I'm like, yes, it's all worth it. Everything I'm doing is like, as long as one person I don't know recognized that something was cool about it, then it inspires me so much more than like any social media metric or anything else. Like as long as one person like felt enough of an impact to approach me outside later somewhere else and be like, that was sick, that's so fun.
Who inspired you?
Oh gosh, man. I think.
Let me rephrase the question.
Yeah.
Because it'll be better for this podcast. Is called Everyday Heroes, and you literally just described the reason why I wanted to interview you. Because if I ask the question, hey, who inspired you? Like that's an artist question. Like, oh, Daft Punk, Diplo. You could name. You know, that's an easy answer. A harder answer, and the reason why I'm interviewing you is because there's someone that's at arm's reach that is doing or was doing the thing that you wanted to do, and just the fact that they were doing it inspired you enough to get after it, because now you're doing that. Like, I'm inspired by you. Shit, I would love to throw fast.
Well, I mean, to turn that around even, because I was talking about how I was going to do this today, and I was kind of recapping the whole history. Like, I was telling someone about, like, oh, yeah, the first time I ever went somewhere and heard, like, electronic dance music was because you had taken me along, like, and I'm like the youngest brother, like not cool to like take around, but you were like, come with us to this party somewhere in Provo, can't even remember where, but I just remember like seeing DJs like actually do what they do in like the context of the lights and everyone dancing, and I was like immediately just so hooked on that. And then I remember the first time you had come over, I think you had like Ableton or something, and you were like, check this out. And you were just like chopping up samples or something. And I was like mind blown. I had never seen any of this before. All the music I was used to was just like, I don't know, whatever they played on X96 at the time.
They still play that music.
Yeah, it's the same playlist. But I think like a lot of the things that kind of inspired me or shaped me, or the people, were just like the people who were willing to like just share the things that they were like pumped on at that time. And at the time, like you were getting into DJing, and like seeing you like excited about like doing it and like taking me places to see other people do it. Like I was just like, this is so rad. Like what a cool world to get a glimpse of. And so I think anytime I meet someone who's like just very stoked on some pursuit that they have and they're willing to like share it with me, I feel like there's usually something I can get out of either their attitude toward it, or like their perspective, or why they're excited about doing it. Like Max, like running 1,000,000 miles every month or whatever.
420 miles.
Every day, yeah. 4.2 miles is like, it's like, that takes a crazy amount of dedication. You're a runner too, so you get that, like, that is not easy. But then like, when I see him post his like Nike achievements or whatever from the app or whatever, every year he runs more miles than the year before, stuff like that. It's like, dang, like it gets me pumped to run, and I hate running.
Dude, thanks for bringing that. I had forgotten about that. And I can't remember why I would bring you along or why I invited you. I think I have a vague vague memory of either one or two things. Either one, Chris was like, hey, my brother's interested in some of this stuff because we lived together. And there was those EDP shows that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then two, I just remember having like some sort of instinct that this is what like you were into, like something about it. And I like showing when people get excited about something, and I'm like, dude, you want to show them more, because especially in like kind of the art world, and when you're like in weird, because this is 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Skrillex wasn't even really around then, like
No,
for reals. He just barely, yeah, I think he just released his self-titled album just barely.
Or maybe even, it was like before, because I remember, and you let me DJ at your house once as like the opening, like no one had even really showed up yet, but I was like,
that was a nuclear house party.
Yeah.
that was the one where we cracked.
Oh, that like broke the floors.
Yeah, that right. You DJ'd
I think so. Yeah.
And we had like Red Bulls and all this shit, and the cops came and stopped it. Was that the one?
Yeah. And like I was like blocked in because I had like parked behind the house, and it was just like lined with cars. Yeah, that was crazy. And then when I moved to St. George for school, I brought all you guys down to DJ. Like I set up like a little DJ awesome. Night thing, and it was like, and I remember that was the first time that I'd ever heard a Skrillex track. Someone, I can't remember who played it.
It was my closer. It was Scary Spirits.
Yeah.
Spirits and whatever.
And I literally was just like, "What the fuck is this song?" I had been exposed to dubstep, but obviously Skrillex came and shook everything up at the time.
Speaking of dubstep, do you still get the Rusko look?
I every once in a while actually go revisit listening to Rusko's music, but I haven't done a shaggy mohawk in a while. I've just been like long hair, but yeah, I used to, again, another thing that you took me to when I was 18, you took me to Hard Haunted Mansion in LA. Who are those other two guys with us?
Jeff Larson?
Jeff, yeah.
And Mike?
Jeff and Drew.
Oh, that's right. Jeff and Drew.
Yeah. And that was when I looked just like Rusko. That's and right. I pretended I was on a phone call with you, and someone in the crowd after like jokingly was like, "Oh shit, it's Rusko," and pointed at me, and people started like coming up and taking photos with me and stuff, and I was like,
that's awesome.
I don't know, I need to get out of here.
I forgot that I took you to that, but that's true. That was dope.
Yeah, that whole trip was
Hard
great.
Haunted Mansion, because I first went when I got off my mission, like the very next year, that changed my world, because I saw Justice like front row, Soul Wax front row, too many DJs, and like. This is like pre-iPhone, or the iPhone one had just come out. I didn't even have one. I had like still like, but I remember how you were just describing like just being mesmerized. And for me, I remember those days as like, I want to be a part of this but like, I just wanted to be a part of it, whatever I needed to do and that I would see DJing. I didn't even know what producing music was. And I still don't know how to produce, which is crazy to think that how far I got involved in that. Never learning how to produce a single beat.
Do you still find time to DJ?
Nope, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't make the time for it. Here's what I remember. I remember when I built Damn Son, and then my idea with that was to make a lifestyle brand record label that was similar, like, just something that would be branded, an artist that would rep the brand, would feel stoked to rep the brand because everything about it was cool. And the music just was the representation of the brand, if that made sense.
Yeah.
But I didn't know anything about, I kind like how we talked about the instincts. The instinct was there. The execution was shittily there. But dude, to this day, I still get people to ask me about it. And seeing it in Seattle, in the wild, was insane to me. But I remember when I left Utah because I needed to prove that I could do it. And then when I had the K-Swiss opportunity, it was time to let it go. It was like breaking up with a girlfriend, because it was like I've done so much. so many people involved, not involved, and so there's still like the last post on it is just me, and it just says like 2020. So that's the last time and I kind of like, maybe I'll do a late night show, maybe this, but
Yeah.
it was just a catalyst to get me to where I needed to be. And,
Yeah, it was kind of the beginning of you, like, your marketing skills and advertising. Like, you were doing your own graphic design, and, like, it was kind of an incubator for where you are now. So even if, like, it wasn't something you continued, it's like, I mean, I love skateboarding. I grew up skateboarding. I still say that I love it, and occasionally I'll try and hop on the board, but, like, I don't pursue it in the same way, that I do anymore. But it did, like, provide something for me when I needed it that still is special to me.
It evolved into exactly what you said. It evolved to what I'm doing now. Hi, how you doing? And what I mean by that is like, so it's essentially, in a loose way, X and G came from Damn Son, right? Aaron and Christian met, they formed X and G. X and G became like one of the biggest names in EDM for a while. Well, now Christian works with me. Like, he's helping me build Fruitstand. All the amazing, like all the beats, all those cuts, all those things, that's all Christian. And it's like the evolution of what that was. And I mean, if I think of like friends, maybe I didn't grow up with a Max or a Steve, but no one has, for reals, and Christian, if you watch this, maybe I'll just cut this. No one has believed in me, and not only me, but like just willing to help me succeed at full capacity, like Christian, whether it was with Damn Son, whether it was just like bringing me along when X and G was, doing the thing, whether now doing this. And I think that's cool because you always want to, for me, I'm driven to help him like continue to grow with me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I think a lot of like different sayings or cliches that people have used to describe this, like your tribe is your vibe, or like, you are your friends. But in a like a very real way, and Steve has said this to me before, where he's like, I don't always like believe in myself, but you guys always believe in me, and if I believe in you guys, then I believe in myself. And so like it's this circular thing where, like, yeah, everyone has doubts about maybe something they're trying to do or their ability to execute it. But if your friends are like, oh yeah, you got this, then if you really believe in and trust your friends and they believe in you, then what choice do you have other than to like, I guess I can do it. Like the closest people in my life are the ones that are like, oh yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So cool.
And so I think, yeah, surrounding yourself with those people is only going to push you farther, faster, than you would if you were just trying to do it all alone.
Let me shift gears because you're still super involved, I would say, in the music scene. And I want to go to one of your plug your cowboy shows because I think they're awesome. Actually, tell me about that before I ask my question.
Yeah, so they're not even really mine. I'm just kind of co-hosting them, but every Monday a friend and I play like original country records, like old 45s at a bar downtown. And it's Mondays, so it's not like it's like popping all the time, but people will show up and like hear us playing curated selections of like old timey country music and come up and be like, this is sick. I wish there was more places like this. But it's kind of just a random thing that I started doing.
I saw the picture, dude. I'm like, I actually have a record player specifically for old westerns.
Really?
Yeah, and I went to DI once just because I was like looking to see it, and I'm like, they have all these cool old western records, and especially with a little bit of warp on them, like when you play them, it like just adds a little like flavor to it. I want to check that out. I think it's cool. My question that I was thinking about, want to talk to you, like get your input on it, is like same thing with Damn Son. There was a point where I was like, if I want to get a house like Nick has a house, then I need to make like some life changes. What would you tell your younger self? before you know?
Um, yeah, I think I think everyone should still be finding time to like do the things that aren't going to make them any money, or like I think when you're young, especially if you're very focused on school and stuff like that, like that is good to be focused on, from just like you're making the right decisions, you're setting yourself up for success later. Like those are all good things, but like I wish I wouldn't have like stopped focusing on music as much during college. I wish I would have like continued to look for opportunities to meet other musicians, like meet the people who are focusing really hard on it. Because I've always known that that was what I loved most. But I even had counselors in college that were like, well, you're never going to make a living from music. So what do you actually like? Everyone kind of at a certain level is trying to get you to be less serious about the things that like you really love doing as an artist. And I wish that I maybe would have just kept focusing on it as much as I wanted to, because now that, I was kind of like maybe around COVID really that I was just dove headfirst back into everything. Like music wise, I started joining bands again and playing music with other people. And I started the Cassette Club like 2019. And it's just like now I work to support my hobbies and my art that don't make me money. Well, don't make me very much money. And I wonder sometimes if I had just continued to like be gaining artistic skills or building artistic communities or meeting the right people, like maybe I would have had more opportunities to like be doing art in a more meaningful way than I am now even. But yeah, it's always hard to like, what would you tell yourself? I don't know. What would you say?
I think about this often. And I would tell myself to, similar to what you said, like don't stop being involved in the things you want to do, but pursue it with purpose and not out of clout, not out of trying to be cool, but have a purpose in what you want to do and get after it. Get involved in the scene the right way. Get involved in the scene to help. Like that's number one. And I would for sure tell myself like, do not party. Like, do something with it.
Yeah, I think doing things with purpose, I do like that, and that's something that I think maybe I had to find along the way of just doing those things. Like I've always loved music. I've always like been compelled to write it or to play it for people. But now that I've been more involved in like the scene here and with the people that I've met and everything, I feel like I've started to develop now like the reason why I want to be as involved as I am. And I have been sort of like telling certain people or spreading rumors about it, but this is breaking news. I'm actually opening a venue in my backyard.
Let's go.
So Far Out Fest last year, it was I like cleaned the garage and I had one of the stages in there. So I had artists playing inside the garage, and it was like miserably hot in there. Like people were coming out like sweating, like looking like they were like, oh, it's super hot in there, but that music was cool. Like it would like people were like forcing themselves to stay because they were like seeing this great music in there. And I kind of just was like, I should just use that space for that purpose. But then the more I looked at my garage, I was like, this is a dangerous building. It needs to be torn down. So I tore it down, and then I built a new garage that I'm currently like finishing the drywall and everything, and I'm turning it into like a venue where I can curate and give opportunities to like perform to artists around town. Because now that's like, I've realized that there's been a lot of people, like you being one of them, other like mentors I've had around town even that have given me opportunities to play, found, you know, ways to help me share what I have. And so now kind of the purpose I'm finding is like, oh, I have the means to do that for other people. And so,
Dude, that's so cool.
yeah, it's I mean, it's again, and it's something that I know nothing about. I don't know how to run a venue. Like, I don't know how to book. Like, I don't know I don't know how to work with agents or any of that, but like I had a space in my backyard where a garage was, and is now again. And so I'm starting there, and then I'll learn the rest along the way. But that's
Seems like, I mean, that's your motto. Like, you'll figure it out.
yeah, yeah. It's and I figure out by doing rather than researching.
You also have the track record. That's what, like, I think the track record speaks for itself. We were talking earlier about, and first, before I forget, I'll cut this out. Maybe not. Dude, I want to be your first sponsor. Fruitstand Studios will drop the first $1,000 into your space. I'll freaking give you a check for $1,000. I want to be I 100% believe in what you're doing. That's not a lot of cash, but it should help you out.
That's a lot of cash, dude.
So,
But I would be honored. We'll hang a plaque. We'll hang a picture of you, dude, up in the venue.
We'll do the ape. We'll help you out, dude. I guarantee Christian, when he sees this, he'll get jazzed up about it. Let me tell you what kind of person Christian is, because like I'm getting fired up, and once he hears this, trust me, he'll be fired up too. The dude who's easily one of the most successful musicians in the state, has a song with Skrillex, loves going to work the door at V2 to hand out tickets.
Really?
Like, the more he can help a musician or the scene and that's like when I see the magic in him. So anyways, I think it's cool. We'll 100%, be one of your first sponsors to help you out.
Come through. I'm going to do some type of grand opening at some point and have like a fundraiser barbecue, hot dogs and stuff. But a lot of like people can't play shows if they don't, like, they can't guarantee a certain amount that the venue will make off them or something. Like I would like to try and remove as many barriers to playing live music or, showing off your art as possible.
That's what, again, literally this is the exact reason I want to interview you. And we were talking about social media. People can fake that they're doing stuff, and then there's people that really do it. And sometimes the people that are really doing it, they're not even really posting about it because they're doing the thing. And oftentimes the people that are posting too much about the thing are not doing the thing.
Yeah, it's I'm sure it's interesting for you too, like trying to find what your relationship is with social media, because we both have worked with it very closely. Like, I mean, you still do like as a job, but then in like your personal life, it's like, okay, well, there's like some personal branding that I should be doing, like maybe for like certain promotional, like I'm in a lot of bands. How do I use social media as an effective tool to promote it? How do we present ourselves in a way that gets people excited? But then also like not falling into like the inauthenticity or like the kind of the time suck that social media can become for people that get, like, I've seen musicians who are in like great musicians or people who are like doing really cool things, but then they get like a little too sucked into like focusing on the social media side of it, and it starts to like distract from their art. But the world we live in is very like social media focused, and like, how can you market yourself? Musicians now are they're making TikToks every day to try and get people to listen to their music, which seems like counterintuitive.
Well, that's why I go back to like, what would I tell my younger self? Because the problem I had, for reals, this is a problem I have because I was sucked into it. The young people, for the most part, not everyone, clearly you're not one of these because I look at the success you have, but young people get too caught up in the scene, and they get manipulated by who they think is cool. And when I say manipulated, they just make choices without thinking. And it could be choices that aren't going to help them to get ahead. Like they just, so like the music, when I go back, I like, people can't get, you can't get, hey, girl. If you live for this, if you live for the party, you're not going to get ahead.
Yeah, it's I mean, like having fun is great. Doing fun things and like I, I, I don't know, and like finding ways to maybe relax or be distracted from the real world for a long time or a little bit of time is like good things to do. But yeah, never too much of a good thing can be a bad thing, I guess.
Sorry, because I think I was playing with your dog. My thought went like in a spiral. But the TikTok thing. You're saying, oh, artists are putting TikTok stuff out. That's what I was gonna say. I think what I mean by this is like the young people that want to do something with music, you need to hunker down, because if you want to show off for your friends and live out of your means, party, the party, the coffee, the living in an apartment that you can't afford, and then you have a job that won't pay all of the bills. That's what I mean by that is
Yeah.
like if you're going to pursue it, you have to make the better choices to pursue it the right way. Because if you don't do that, dude, you're
Yeah.
never going to make it.
Yeah, I mean, the sustainability of what you're doing is always like if you're going to try and make it like a career in music, or even like be creating a lot of music and then showing, like trying to get it out there into the world. Like if you're not spending time doing that and you're spending more time trying to show everyone that you're making music or something, then like, yeah, that's a path to failure for sure.
Dude, exactly almost 1 hour. I think this might be a good place to end. You've already said it, but do you have any life philosophies?
Yeah, I've been trying to work on that recently, actually. Like I said, friendship has been a big thing, a theme that's been reappearing in my life, especially lately. And so I've kind of been trying to like, how do I distill this down into like my own belief system? What do I believe? What is my personal philosophy? And I think it kind of comes down to like when like my friends, when you think of like a friendship with another person, that's a connection that you have. And friendships are like positive connections. But you have to work at them. You don't just become friends and then it stays that way and it's easy forever. Like you have to like spend time with these people, support what they're doing, they support what you're doing. So you nurture these connections and you find out the choices that you make that help those friendships thrive. And you can have a friendship, like you should be a friend to yourself. What choices are you making that help you like want, like accept what you're doing, and so get you hyped on your own life. And I think the more you foster those connections, the more you understand yourself and are grateful for the choices that you make. So like you should be finding the choices in life that make friendships happen, either with other people or with yourself, or the choices that you make that like help you understand, the environment you're in and be grateful for it. And so we're all just making little choices all day, every day. So find the little ones that like make you a little bit more understanding and grateful for like the people you're around, or the choices, the situation you're in, whatever you have. Be a friend to yourself, to animals, to nature. Like do choices that are good for the earth. I don't know, like because then you just like feel better. Being friends with everything around you, I guess, is what I like. I don't know. I'm trying to just describe like be friendly and be friends with everyone, but like I don't know. There's something brewing there in my own mind that like I'm trying to kind of put my thumb on. But I think it all was inspired by the fact that like I have such great friends. Like how do I capture that in like the rest of the things I'm doing? That sounds very like woo woo or whatever. I don't know. But it's like I'm trying to approach everything as if it's a friendship now, because like I love and support my friends. They love and support me. how can I view myself that way? How can I view, my career that way? How can I view like all of these different aspects of my life, how I see my friends? Because then I think that I will make the choices that, continue to make, make me happy in those situations. I don't know. So that's a very weird, maybe doesn't make any sense, but
it made perfect sense to me, and it attests to your success for reals. If you're not, kindness is the ultimate motivator.
yeah, just be a friend.
Yeah, dude, Nick, you're an everyday hero, for reals. You're inspiring. So it's so funny because like you're just getting started. That's the reality of it. Where you're at right now, you're going to enter into a whole new different phase of your life. And in 5 more years, when Far Out Fest, did I say that right?
10, yeah, Far Out Fest 10,
Far
5 years.
Past 10 is here. It might be here maybe as a reunion type of thing, but it won't be here. It'll be somewhere massive because that's your track record, 100%. And I'm stoked to know you, and thank you for your time, dude.
Well, thanks for letting me yap at you a little bit.
Hell yeah.